and welcome to Hustings. They don't do that, council. I'm Abby.
Hi, Abby.
They don't do this at council either. I am chairing Hustings today. Okay, we have some rules. Firstly, be quiet when people are speaking. Thank you. I don't care if you're quiet when I'm speaking. I mean the candidates, yes, thank you. Listen to me, please. Be respectful of one another. Everyone is here because they want to change something in the world. That doesn't mean you can be mean to them about it if you don't agree with it. But yeah, be respectful, be nice, thank you. All of our questions have been submitted in advance. That means you cannot ask a question. Do not shout one out. Do not put your hand up to ask one, which I will not warn you. Each candidate will be asked 2 questions, and that is only the candidates for the full-time officer roles because there are so many of you. However, if you want to ask any candidates for any roles question, most of them will hang around at the end so you can just go and have a chat, and that's it. If anybody needs any kind of way at any point today, we have the committee room upstairs booked as a quiet space. You can ask James over there. Give us a wave, James. There he is. And he will let you in. That's the quiet space. Our nearest accessible toilet is over there. And no, it's not. Wait, is it? There it is. I have 2 different words for the nearest accessible toilet and the nearest gender neutral toilet, but both. No, it's out the back of the deli. Yeah, it is right. The nearest accessible toilet is out the back of the deli. The nearest gender neutral toilet is out there. So this is how the evening will work. We will ask the candidates to come up here, role by role, and they will give a speech. The full-time officer candidates, thank you, sorry, that was a new problem, will get 2 minutes for their speech. The candidates for every other role will get 1 minute for their speech, not because we don't appreciate them, but because we don't have enough time. Some candidates may have some extra time for their reasonable adjustments. If you need that for a reasonable adjustment and you haven't been able to let us know, when you come up, just give us a nudge and we will give you that. We will not ask questions, we will just do it. If any candidate has submitted a video speech, which you're in the room, so you won't have, but you all received an email beforehand to submit video speeches. If you could be here today, we will play that video on this lovely screen up here. Once the speeches are then done, we will move on to the pre-submitted questions, which I think I explained that earlier. There are 2 questions per role. We will ask the candidates one by one. The first question in reverse order of speeches, and then we will ask the second question in an entirely random order, in which I choose. I'm just going to pick you. The candidates will have 1 minute per question. Also, the hustings are being recorded, as you know, and photos are being taken. If you do not want to be filmed at any point, please email elections@sussexstudent.com and let us know. I'm not going to go over the running order, but I have to flip my page because I don't remember it. So first up will be International Students Officer. And then Diversity Access Participation Officer. And Student Living and Sustainability Officer. And then we will have a break. And then Sports Society and Events Officer. And then Wellbeing Officer. And then closing out with full-time officer roles, Education and Employability Officer. And then we will have another break. And then the Women Students Officer role. And then BAME Students Officer. And PTR Officer. And then closing out the night is Student Trustee. So I would like to invite the candidates for International Students Officer up now. Take a seat. Not my stuff.
Yes. Thank you. Very much.
So, we will be going in order along the row for speeches, and then following these speeches, we do have a video to play from a candidate who will not be here tonight. Again, each candidate has 2 minutes unless they have reasonable adjustments. We will inform you when there are 10 seconds left of your time. If at which point please start your speech. I will then inform you when your time is up. And if you continue and they have time. Yes. Oh, also please introduce yourself at the start of your speech.
Hi. Hi, I'm Payal. I'm doing my master's in media for development. And why am I running for this role? Is because of word of mouth. And because of word of mouth, I'm here. And moving forward, I would like to have more strategic communication in place where more students know about this role and actually can nominate themselves. That is why I'm running for international student officer. I also have 7 years of experience working in the education sector, and I've built inclusive classrooms for my students. And being the next running for this role, I want to build those classrooms for all of us over here through one voice and one change. The 3 things I'm working on right now is the information overload. Can you give me a woo if you missed an event or didn't know about an event that happened on campus? Exactly. So it's exactly what I'm working on. Strategic communication where we have all information in one place, weekly, monthly on the Sussex Direct app. Second thing I would like to work for is know your rights and know your campus. Okay? Through in-person events during Welcome Week, we have job-specific, faculty-specific career placements, and you get to know about roles like student rep, international student officer right at the beginning, so you know exactly what the timeline is about. And Know Your Campus, the tour series, where, can you please tell me, do you know about Pevensey or Ashdown? Have you visited? So I want to have university walks where students can know the history of their university, you know? Yeah. And lastly, I will talk about belongingness. Have more culture, potlucks, where students can bring their food, strategic. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to use the existing resources of the university, like the mature student community and the Belong Sussex, to actually build more strategic networking and connections. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Zarab and I'm a current student of governance and policy at the University of Sussex. Why am I running for international student officer? So firstly, I want there to be more opportunities for on-campus placement jobs for students. Second, I want there to be more support for students escaping conflict in terms of mental health, as well as third thing is I want there to be better communication in terms of how the university talks to prospective students as well as current students. So why do I think jobs, the university can do better about jobs? Firstly, if you're studying at Sussex, you should be graduating with experience and not just a degree. Especially if you're paying £30,000 for this experience. The student consultancy program we have right now, it runs for 4 weeks, is not nearly enough to give you the kind of experience that it promises. And I want to remodel it to resemble what Exeter University does right now with its professional pathways scheme, where you have targeted training as well as 35 hours of paid work in that specific sector. Why do I think I would be a good person for this job? I have worked as the IG's union councillor for this year, as elected by the students, and in this role I have tried to take concerns about AI to research design, to professors speaking too fast in class, to the university admin, and what I've done after months of advocacy is have a system in place where professors talk about their research design to international students so that they have a better sense of how dissertations work in an academic UK academic context. So thank you. I do think that you deserve clarity about your finances, your studies, as well as the support that you can access at Sussex. So thank you.
Hi. Hi everyone, my name is Portia. I'm from Bangladesh and my nerves are really getting the best out of me right now. So I might be blabbering and 2 minutes is nearly not enough time for me to talk about everything everything I care about. So hi, I'm from Bangladesh and before coming to Sussex, I was working with students in conflict-inflicted regions. I was working with students from Rohingya, Palestine, Syrian refugee context, trying to find employment and education opportunities for them. I really love working in education, and this opportunity came at a time when me, myself as an international student, felt absolutely stranded at Sussex. I'm a self-funded student, so all the financial issues, all the financial strains, I've really felt all of that. And honestly, I think all of us deserve a seat at these positions to raise our concerns. I think my candidates, our fellow candidates have raised really good points about how we can make this community better. And I think I want to start with that I think all of us deserve a better, transparent platform where we can come together and really hear about from the international students, like what their experiences have been. That's my nerves getting in. But if I quickly talk about my manifesto points, I think I really want to start with reducing the bus fares. Commute is not a luxury. It's something that we all have to do every day, and the bus fares are obnoxious. It's really expensive. Secondly, I think there should be a payment plan, for flexible payment plan. The university should not be threatening students to withdraw them from the course, to suspend them, or to evict them from their houses. There should be a case-by-case accessibility of what is happening and assessment before we really send out these emails, because my Canvas access before I could submit my nomination was removed for 15 days, and that was absolutely unnerving. I do not think these kind of threats should be sent towards us. Thirdly, I really want to make sure that there's the sustainability hub and a food bank for our students, that no student is struggling with food insecurity, and then people can buy their stuff.
Yes, sorry, entirely. We will now play the video manifesto.
Hello everyone, my name is Grace. I'm an international student doing my master's degree in child psychology. Like many of you, I came to study in the UK. I came with a lot of excitement and ambitious, but also uncertainty. Like coming to a new country and a new culture, it's not only an academic experience, it's also personal, emotional, and social challenge. International students come here with resilience, diversity, and global perspectives, yet we are often left alone to navigate this complex system, especially when it comes to the career path and building the network. So my campaign is about building bridges between education, careers, between students and opportunities, and most importantly, between people. I want to strengthen the mentorships by increasing the access to internships and building good peer networking, especially from day one at the induction. When students feel supported, they grow, and when they feel connected, they can lead. You know, I'm not running because I have answers for all questions. Actually, I'm running because I truly care about listening, supporting, and empowering people. For me, leadership is about responsibility, consistency, and most important, showing up when there is challenges. So if I elected, I will make sure that international students not only present, but also seen and empowered. Thank you.
We're now going to move on to our questions for our international students and candidates. The first question is, what do you think universities in the UK can learn from how education is done in other countries? I'm firstly going to go to our video.
Question 1. I think UK University can learn how to improve the connection between students and the wider community because the learning process shouldn't only happen inside the classroom, but also by giving students opportunities to engage with the real-world challenges, like local organizations and social projects. And like this, the university can help students to apply their knowledge and to build a network, a good network. And this approach doesn't only improve the academic growth, but also the personal skills like teamwork and leadership skills, preparing students for the real life after university.
Thank you. Now in reverse order.
Yes.
Thank you. As a reminder, the question is, what do you think universities in the UK can learn from how education is done in other countries? You will have 1 minute to answer this question. I will once again remind you when you have 10 seconds remaining.
I think I just have one little point that education does not have to be this expensive. UK, the education is honestly treated like a business. I'm from Bangladesh and our economy is peanut compared to the economy in the UK. And I really think there should be more subsidies. The tuition fees, yes, I understand. There are facilities to run, there are utility bills to pay, there are staffs to pay, but it does not have to come out of a big chunk from tuition fees. There are other funding opportunities as well. So this is really aspirational, I know, and it has nothing to do with my position, but I really think that the UK university tuitions should be reduced. Yeah,
Just give me 1 second to reset the timer. Do you need a reminder of the question? Okay, the question is, what do you think universities in the UK can learn from how education is done in other countries?
So for this, I wanted to compare UK to how education is done in Germany, which also sees a large number of international students. And yet for some reason, it's able to have public universities with little to no tuition fee, as well as a substantial amount of scholarship. I mean, compared to the UK, like you don't really have scholarships, you basically have just discounts. And if you're not already rich, you will not be able to afford studying in these countries. But coming back to my favorite point about jobs, UK degrees have integrated internships into their degree programs, which is something that the UK can learn from, and it's something that I do want to see happen at Sussex.
So, what do I think UK can learn from other universities is, thank you for both bringing up Germany. I work as an educator and I have been researching actually with this organization called 100, where I, as a selection committee, I looked at all across the globe what innovations are happening in education, and one of the countries that stuck out to me is Finland for education, where we can have more student-centric learning. As a student representative, I have I've spoken to my own students and have taken it up to senior leadership, and learned that we can have a variety of assessment styles. One of the most inclusive practices my professor is doing right now is recording the reading through a podcast and putting it on the canvas. I think more of these practices, small but can start right now.
Thank you. We're now going to move on to the second question. The second question is, what should the university change to make the induction process for new international students better? And I'm so sorry, I do not remember any of the names. Portia, thank you so much.
Okay. Should I go first?
Yes, thank you.
Amazing.
Do you need me to say the question again? Yeah, that works.
Okay. So one thing in one thing in the induction that should be included is, I think, for international students specifically, our rights in the UK, especially work rights, so that no student is exploited. Because when I came in here my first week, this burger shop kept calling me for trial shifts, and after a week I realized that that's illegal, right? And sometimes I will work till 12 at night, and my next shift will start at 7. But it has to be 11 hours gap between your shifts. So there are very little nuances that a lot of international students do not know, and the local businesses end up exploiting us. So I think this should be included in the induction, because 77% of the international students rely on part-time jobs to make a living. So I think this is really, really important. And a lot of us are getting exploited due to lack of knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you need a reminder of the question? Okay, the question is, what should the university change to make the induction process for the new international students better?
Okay. So I've already spoken about this during my speech. I want to reiterate what I said. I want to have one voice, one change. I want to have more in-person briefings during a welcome week. I want every student on campus to know their rights, know their power, know their union through the tools that will be organizing, university walks and campus library tools, to know how to use the printer, to know where and how to use the library, and have and have monthly phone-free socials where students can actually connect with one another through the mature student community and the Belong Sussex app, group, to just network better and facilitate better and make better connections with each other. That's how jobs are formed with them. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Thank you.
We're going to continue now.
Question 2. I think the university could improve the induction process by making it more structured and more supportive, because when new international students arrive here, they have a lot of information to take in while adjusting to the new culture and the new environment. So having these clear scheduled orientation sessions that explain everything and having ongoing support beyond the first week would be very helpful. Also, pairing students with mentors and peer buddies would be also helpful, because it gives them someone to chat with and ask questions to, and this will help them to settle down faster and feel more confident.
Thank you so much. Do you need a reminder of the question? Okay, the question is, what should the university change to make the induction process for new international students better?
Well, I think the university can do a lot better job of preparing students for the cultural shock of moving to a new country, as well as moving in with new housemates, because why is a random British person calling me, hey, love, I'm and yeah, in terms of housing, on a more serious note, I think the university can do better, because you get like 2 days to sign that contract and you don't really know what you're signing, what you're getting into. And I think it's really important that students know what they're getting into at that point. Because, yeah, so
Thank you so much. I won't be on your names, I promise. I'll probably learn all of your names eventually. Thank you all. You may return to your original seat. I would now like to invite the candidate for University Access and Participation Officer. You can sit down, yeah. You do not need to stand up. Oh, yeah, I probably should have said that. You do not need to stand up for your speech. If you want to stay sat, please feel free. Have a microphone. This will be the same deal, except no randomization. Just speech and then 2 questions. Oh, that was a noise. Sorry, let me reset the timers and then we'll go.
Hi everybody, I'm Liz. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm back! So basically, I really want to finish what I started this year. So what I'm pledging to you is basically expanding the race equity advocate program. I've had the pleasure of working with the REAs this year, and it's been amazing. But I would love to see more REAs, especially in IDS and BSMS, and then also expand the program out into other APP groups. For example, in trans equity advocates and first generation scholars, and yeah, basically giving students paid opportunity to represent their communities and make change. The second thing is to continue to fight for accessible student experience. So a big example of this is library. We got a temporary lift, yay! From the Access Sussex and campaigners along before me, but I will not stop until we get a proper lift in front, next to the steps, in the main entrance, stop at the same students at the back. I also want to keep campaigning for accessible teaching spaces. So this is like continuing the fight for hybrid learning. We've got the university to agree to a pilot for disabled students as a reasonable adjustment. Massive, it's exciting. But yeah, basically keeping the university accountable as well to the promises they make, and the mandatory disability training that we got during mine and Yana's year as a disabled students officer. Something that I pledged last year that I really, really want to finish is affordable and accessible travel. So the buses are a nightmare. Every time I go on that, it makes me cry because they're so busy, and then you're paying so much money for the pleasure of standing in someone's armpits. So, yeah, that's something that I want to do, and start a relationship with private paid buses to basically make disabled students have a nicer experience. and also stop people paying so much money. Academic credit for student reps and extracurricular activities. So students are super time poor at the minute. Everyone's willing to work a second job. Everyone wants to do volunteering, but we have no time. Shit, name. Sorry. Okay, reorganizing part-time officer structure, which is something I started, and finally working on security because things shoots having a really terrible time. And yeah, hands up.
Okay. Sorry, I just what was that? Your first question is, how would you aim to be intersectional in your work?
Okay, so intersectionality is really important to me because you can't really celebrate diversity without recognizing like different communities and the interactions between those communities. So one theory talks about intersectionality is actually entanglement. You can't separate the identity from the community. And one of the things that I've done in this past year is basically do individual personal connections with students, actively listening to lived experience. But being in a community is valuable. However, if you're like grouping that community together and looking at it through a homogenous lens, then it's disadvantage because you're trying to assume that they all have the same needs.
Thank you. Okay. Your second question is, how would you give marginalised students agency and let them lead on liberation work without putting the responsibility for doing all of this work on them?
So in this question, I immediately thought about my time as a part-time officer. So I was working for free volunteering for my community, and my role as full-time officers then. And basically how one of the things that they did really well for me that I have tried to do as an officer, full-time officer this year, is by doing the legwork. So doing the boring admin job, sending the emails, but making sure students are in the room and they're talking about their lived experiences and never talking over them. So you're not just advocating for them, you're actively facilitating for them. And
Okay, the next set of candidates up is a student living and sustainability officer. Do you have enough time? Yes. Cool. I'm going to remind you that we're going to go along the row. You'll do your speech, then we'll come back down the row, question, and then I'll just pick for the second question. So you'll have 2 minutes for your speech. First up.
Hello. I'm Fergus, your student living and sustainability candidate. I'm going straight into my policy work. So firstly, I want to implement a university-based guarantor scheme, which will give all the students a fair access to guarantors, which will be extremely useful for international and estranged students. Transport-wise, I will aim to further negotiate with Brighton and Hove buses to really lower the bus tickets cost, something that's so expensive. Living-wise, I will aim to freeze the rent on campus accommodation and also regulate their standards, as well as teach all the students their rental rights, which is very crucial. And last and certainly not least, I will aim to create a campus safe from hate, which will welcome all the students in this trying time of politics. All of these ideas I have are based on individual and community experiences that I personally experienced or someone I know has experienced. And these ideas are very connected to our day-to-day lives, especially given how difficult student living is now in the UK, such as with some students can't even afford to take the buses to go to the lectures that they paid for. I believe I'm the perfect candidate in this role, as I already have 2 years experience working with the SU as the transit library officer. In that role, I have gained a lot of experience with stressful situations, such as dealing with the Office for Students' Fine situation, and as well as I have also learned the internal workings of the union, which is extremely useful for policy making.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm also a queer student and international student, which will give me a lot of different perspectives from my policy making. So vote for Fergus for student living and sustainability.
Good.
Sweet. Hi everyone. I'm Reese, fourth year international development Spanish student. I was in Europe. I lived in Bogota, Colombia for 1 year. I don't know if there's any Colombians here, but there you go. I'll keep this very short and sweet. I have 3 of my main pledges and 1 bonus pledge. My number 1 pledge is to expand the Sussex Saver. It shouldn't just run from 12 to 3 every day. You should have breakfast and dinner options for £2.50. This comes from the first time I did a work at the co-op basically on campus. We have 6 a.m. starts. And it was my break at around 9. I went into East Central to get some breakfast and they charged me like £8 or something. And I was like, what? So that needs expanding. Number 2 is improving access to cheaper, more sustainable transport. For me, that's the Penny Point project, which is something that I helped set up 2 years ago and have been working really hard on this year. It's a bike cooperative. We fix abandoned bikes. We teach people to fix abandoned bikes. And then we sell it for under £100. The idea is to get more people cycling, spending less money on the buses, less reliant on the bus services, which, as many people have raised, are a big problem. Lastly is housing. I didn't want to make any big pledges on housing because I know the university is really going to fight anything to do with dropping rent. I know that. But for me, it comes from my experience in my first year where I ran a campaign called the Lewis Court campaign. I moved into Lewis Court and I was living on basically the edge of the Westwood construction site. Every morning from 8 a.m, there was drilling, there was excavation, we had floodlights in my room at night, I couldn't sleep, it was horrible. And so me and a couple other students, we set up a campaign called the Lewis Court campaign. We took the fight to the university, and for 8 months we battled, and we won just under £500,000 in compensation for over 1,000 students. So my recommendation is very simple. If any student has housing issues, were I to be the Student Living and Sustainability Officer, they can personally contact me and I will take the fight to the university. Or if it's not off campus, I will take the fight to whoever it needs to be, to the council, that's what we did, take it to the landlord, take it to the regulating agency. I will make sure that any student is advocated for and truly protected. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Erin. I'm a master's student. I'm studying human rights. I also did my undergrad at Sussex, so I've been here. This is my 5th year at Sussex now. And I just love Brighton. I love this community. I find it so inspiring being here. The student body is the best thing about being in Brighton, being a part of this community. And I really want to be able to leave Sussex a better place than where I found it. I feel like I'm really aware from my experience of being here for so long now of the things that make being a student here fantastic and amazing, but also the things that make it really challenging, as I've already been mentioned. And that is the cost of living crisis. It is dodgy landlords, it's exploitation, it's horrible mouldy houses, but it's also just a general feeling that life is a bit horrible. Things feel really hostile off campus and on campus sometimes. And I really want to make campus a place full of hope where students feel like they come here to learn to make the world a better place, but they can put that into practice and they can feel like they're making a difference. And they leave uni feeling like they actually can do something about the problems that they see. My policies, if I'm elected, I want to make sure every single student at Sussex fully understands what their rights are as a renter, because we just don't have enough information on that. And as has already been mentioned many times, the student union, as a union for every student, must back students in challenging exploitative landlords, because it's just not good enough that students have to live in such horrible conditions. I will back BDS campaigns in every element of the university. We should not be giving money to causes that the student body does not support. I want to introduce third spaces to the uni, which are green and fun and happy and exciting spaces where but it's also productive, where students can gain skills that will make them feel like they're able to put them into use. Because sustainability is about feeling supported and feeling happy and healthy as a student. So yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, can we have 4 student living and sustainability officers? Because I think we'd make a great team and kind of change the world together. Those are really good policies, thank you guys. Hey everyone, I'm Jyoti, I'm running to be student living and sustainability. I always wanted to do a TED talk, so this is actually really good practice for that. 3 years ago, when I came to Sussex, I was raring with hope and excitement to be studying international development at one of the world's most sustainable universities. But that view was quickly jaded and tainted by the fact that, speaking to my peers, I realized that so much of us are struggling with climate anxiety, with the cost of living, unaffordable transport, and inaffordable, inaccessible accommodation. Despite the university's flashy branding of being green campus and being #1 ranking for student satisfaction, our experiences do not reflect that reality. I'm here to represent you and to bring dignity, affordability, and sustainability to Sussex University student experience. I'll do this by lobbying for rent caps on accommodation, because the uni might not reduce prices, but we can get that shit capped. Sorry for my French. Transport as well. What do you mean £4.60 for one day ticket? That is simply not accessible for students. Cheaper food options, as Reese mentioned, really good point, thank you. And I want to ensure inclusive representation for all student communities. I'm British Indian, I know what it's like to be both international and a home student, and I want to represent everyone so that all our voices are brought to the forefront. I want to also bring people together over climate activism. Sussex is known for activism, and yet all the groups feel so fragmented and siloed. I want to build back community at Sussex. We can do this together, we can do it better. So why would I be good for this role? I have experience in the Students' Union. I've worked with it for over 3 years, and I'm currently the Sustainability Administrator. I've helped organise events for Climate Justice Week and am the campaigns coordinator. But a good leader is someone who listens to you, who cares about you, and supports you. So Sussex, this isn't about me. The power is in your hands, and I trust you'll make the right choice.
Thank you. So we will then go reverse order. So I had an explanation and then it went out of my brain. Anyway, first question for you is, what are the best things about being a student in Brighton, and how would you like to help new students engage with life in the city? Yeah. There's no point in sitting down, really.
I lived in London before coming to Brighton, and honestly, I never felt like myself. I never felt like I could find a community that actually understood me and saw me for who I was. And then I came to Brighton and I became this really hippie, funky person. I feel like Brighton allows you to be that. It allows you to step into someone that you've maybe always wanted to be and actually explore layers of yourself. So the best part of being a student in Brighton is the diversity of people. You can really find your community, the spirit of activism, where you can actually get things done because people care about making a change. They want to make a difference, and coming together is a great way to do that. And also, the people are really cool and authentic. You'll meet some really cool people in Brighton, so that's why y'all should all come to Sussex and study.
Thank you. Okay. Do you need a reminder question?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I actually have a really similar answer, that the best thing about being in Brighton, being a student in Brighton for me, has been the community here. And whether that's from the community garden that I volunteered at, or from the people you meet in activism spaces, or at community events, at fundraisers, just a space that is so radically inclusive and just has so much care. That's something that I really just don't think a lot of students at other universities have access to, and a lot of people in the UK don't have access to, which we're really, really lucky to have being here. And I think helping students find that community and it feel tangible and long-standing, to support them just making life feel easier and happier and healthier, that is sustainability too, to make students who come to uni to try and make the world a better place, really, again, feel like they can do that. Because action and fulfillment and community is really powerful, and that will drive students into sustainability and their futures.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I think I pretty much am going to concur with everything that's been said in terms of the best thing about Brighton is by far the community. I think it's the fact that there's openness to so many things, there's so many spaces, and I think everybody could always find themselves in some corner of the city. For me, that's always been in the initiatives, both on and off campus, that have been set up by the community. And I think for me, to help these students engage with life in the city, it has to be through these initiatives that already exist and through setting up new ones. So for me, the Pen and Point project on campus is a perfect example of that. So far, we've taught so many people who don't know how to even ride a bike or fix a bike. We're starting to teach them how to do that, and it's beautiful to see. But more broadly in town, for example, I first got into all of this stuff through the Brighton Bike Hub, which has been going for 10 years now. They've been doing the same thing. Near where I live in Beverly, there's also a community food recycling project. I think all of these places need to be more linked in with the student community here on campus, and we need to create more opportunities for students to set those initiatives up where they see that potential, and more support for those initiatives. Thank you.
Do you want to answer the question?
No.
Great. Whenever you're ready.
So, yeah, repeating basically everyone said here, yes, the community is amazing in Brighton, and also I love the activism scene in Brighton, it's amazing. And also I would like to add the food variety in Brighton, that it's actually really good, I really like it. Policy-wise, my university guarantee scheme would remove friction for international students and strange students while they're renting. In addition to that, rent caps or rent freeze on the university accommodations would also enable students from all social classes to participate in our university fair. And last but not least, a hate-free campus will make all students to be able to get used to Sussex in a very more safe environment. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The second question is, how will you engage students in sustainability initiatives when they have less time due to academic commitments and part-time work? Who wants to go first, please? Okay. Where are you at?
I think the answer to this question is about embedding sustainability into the student experience. Sustainability isn't just about going to an event and then kind of patting yourself on the back and feeling good about it. It's actually about making life happier and better and easier and healthier for students, which of course benefits them in more ways than they will even realise. And it won't make them feel like it's a drain on their time and on their energy, which we all understand is very precious and very limited. This can be done through sustainable skills training, making that a really central point of what we do on campus. Because that takes up your time, but it's so valuable for the rest of your life to have those skills. Reclaiming third spaces as somewhere that is a hub of sustainability and the skills training, but is also just somewhere joyful and hopeful and happy to be. And also by asking students what they want and what they need. Because that is so central to ensuring that students don't have a lot of time, but the time they do spend is doing exactly what they want and what they need to do.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
So firstly, on this, I would engage with existing sustainability networks, across writing and campus like the Bike Cooperative. In addition to that, in a lot of my own activist experiences, a lot of like veteran experienced activists are like very much borderline burnout most of the time. So I would say recruiting more students and also like getting more skills workshops and educating more students would really promote a better activist environment. In addition to that, intersectional liberation could also like bridge the gap between all the different liberation movements across campus. Lastly, hybrid meetings and also like more cost-saving measures for students will also like free up their energy and time for more activism and be able to engage within these sustainability initiatives. Thank you.
So the question is, how will you engage students in sustainability initiatives when they have less time due to academic commitments and part-time work? Whenever you're ready.
I'm a really big advocate of community and joy in community. Some of the best times I've had and some of the most meaningful connections I've made at Sussex is through being with other people and doing things together. For example, being part of the Roots Society and helping grow things there and just spending time together in nature, or living in a housing cooperative where I currently live, and I've met people who are really incredible activists and who are doing real things and making real change in the world. So I would organize free and accessible community events on campus where students can just come together and have some joy, have some fun, and that's where real change emerges. Another thing I do is to connect and encourage students to join the amazing student groups that we already have, like the Hiking Society, Forest Garden Society, and Roots. And I want to create a sustainability hub and network to connect all these different groups so that collaboration and connection can amplify the efforts. And finally, building sustainability into academic modules by creating a sustainability module for all students.
Do you need one more question? Whenever you're ready.
This question for me is something actually very personal, because I think throughout my experience here at Sussex, I'm definitely somebody who's prone to burnout, especially in my first year when I set up the Lose Call campaign. I'd always worked at the co-op between maybe 15 to 30 hours a week, and to do studies on top of that, one of them was always going to suffer, and I was very, very quick to burn out. And so it's a very important thing for me that through supporting sustainability initiatives on campus, that we can open up the range of ways in which students can engage with them. I believe that better support for the expansion of sustainability will bring more opportunities, and my vision is that more types of volunteering opportunities that are available in more flexible ways, such as, for example, opening up more hours and having more hours in the day where people can engage with, say, Pedal Point or, say, the Roots Garden and stuff like that, and also having different levels of engagement where you don't have to always turn up every week, maybe you can turn up every month or whatever suitable to your circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you to all four of our Student Living and Sustainability Officer candidates. You may now return to your seats. We will now be going. Sorry, let me get my timers up. Okay, so as a reminder, we will be going along the road, and you will have 2 minutes to make a speech and national reasonable adjustments. We will be timing. I will give you a 10-second warning before the end of your time slot. Once we are done with those speeches, we will go backwards along the road to ask the first question. You will have 1 minute for each question answer. Lovely. Whenever you are ready, please. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Just come out, friend. There you go.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Ella, and I'm running to stay this role as sports science and officer. I'm doing it because I love students. I really do. I love everything about students and like what a diverse range of people they are. And I've learned so much over the last couple of months, just engaging with them, talking to them, being at their events. And I've got a part of it, so I want to stay. I want to do some more. Some of the things I've already kind of done over the last couple of months have been accessible sports, which is really interesting to me because I've always kind of been into competitive sports, so I'm diving into social sports as well as competitive and trying to make them more accessible. I've done bits on positive culture with box clubs, I've done some stuff on trans inclusion and some stuff on disabled students and active arts. And then I've also started negotiations with the Bright and Hope Albion Foundation to hopefully bring them along next year. If I'm still here, which would be really cool. So other things I've done is I started a project called Liberation Live. It's really cool. It's like live music on campus, and we give all the money to union causes and charities. And I'm really passionate about it, and I want to keep doing it. And it wouldn't happen if I wasn't here, so that's what I'm trying to say. I've done some bits on refreshing refreshments. Because it was always a bit plain when I worked as bar staff, and I always thought, why are these events not busy? So I did loads of bits on getting it busier, more promo, things like that, and like making more diverse range of events. So bigger events and smaller events, accessible events, lab events, fun events, all those kind of things. And then my main goal, which I have done a load of lately, is getting the uni and the union to appreciate schools and societies and give us more money. Because we do so much stuff on creating like a fun campus, but also like we just make campus. Like, honestly, the groups that I've seen and the whole work that they've put in, it really, really is underappreciated. So, like, sitting in these strategy meetings, I've been like, you should go to their events, you know? Like, you should come. It's really fun. And just tell them they do a good job. And they really love that kind of stuff. And I think that's really fun and really, really special. As well as the union as well. And being like, please don't give us any more budget cuts, because we've got a big budget cut last year. So I was like, please don't cut the budget. And we didn't really cost, which is really cool. They've also here next year, I basically keep doing these things. I've also done a lot of fundraising as well. Like I did a gig with the Badger, and then some stuff on Challenge Week, Challenge Night. So we'll make them bigger and better, because we've done loads of different stuff. Cool. And then that's basically it. Just keep contributing to campus community, campus culture, and that kind of stuff. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, I'm Noni. I just want to say, like, everyone's speeches have been amazing, and it's like this is such a cool group of people, and more students should be here. I'm running for full-time sports societies and events officer. I will strive to make sports accessible for everyone. I admit I'm not the most sporty person, but I've never I'm a trans guy, and I guess I never really felt like it was like for me. So I want to make sports more accessible for LGBTQ+ people. I also want to make sports inclusive and accessible for everyone, no matter their economic or social background. I am a very approachable person, I'd like to think, so I will be approachable to students, and I will listen to them. I want to organise live music and fundraising events to increase funding for societies and give individuals the opportunity to apply for funding as well, not just societies. And I'm going to create, I will create engaging content to promote student-led activities as well. I'm studying media production, so I'm quite into that. And I don't know how long I've got left.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. I have things to say. But basically, I'm president of Albion Listening Society, so I'm quite involved with societies, especially the media side of societies, so like media, arts and music. I love student societies, and I will be very involved in that. So.
Thank you so much. Whenever you're ready.
Hi guys, I'm Alex. I'm currently part of the Sussex Saxons, which is the Sussex American football team. I've formerly been part of the African Caribbean Society, or African Caribbean Society known as ACS, as a committee member, and I love sports, I love societies, I love events, I love University of Sussex. So just let me get to my points. First, I'll aim for the involvement of having physios and team medics for each of our sports teams. This may seem unreasonable or out of the blue, but when you detail, we have people in the BSMS schools doing 3 to 5 year courses. This can be working experience for them instead of just putting them into a working field or putting them against everyone else around the world really for a job. But there's a job right there for them with so many sports teams around us at the University of Sussex. We can put them as physios for the team and help just give them experience. Further, I aim to diversify active us sessions beyond just having 3 football, 3 badminton, 3 volleyball sessions each week, which is good. But inclusion of other activities such as active us tennis, active us touch rugby, active us flag football, can attract more students to our sports teams rather than relying on aiming to get them through freshers fair, handing out flyers here, there, and there. Also continuing events that are going around campus, Liberation Night, which is really nice. North-South Collective, Ghana Justice Week must continue, they're all great. But being the University of Sussex, adding new events that students can partake in, such as a walk for Sudan, will be just as impactful for the people around. Lastly, I'll aim to make societies for international students have a base, such as starting out the East African Society or the Persian Society, and also reviving the Arab Society as it was a base for Arab students from all parts of the world. Thank you, guys.
Less admin, more safety, better events. It's that simple. The student union has had some of the same problems for years. The long waits, the slow responses, the frustration with endless forms, and a varsity that sometimes ends too quickly. As an ex-president of Polsoc and an ex-councillor for MAH, I know what it takes to make our student groups run well. Transparency and accountability are what a student union should be, and currently it actually is. Access to staff though is crucial, and campus should be a place you want to stay. To make that happen, I'm making 3 core promises to you today. Number 1, I will completely overhaul the group booking system. I'm pledging to fight for priority access for student groups over external corporate bookings, and I will set up regular in-person committee drop-in clinics so you can stop waiting for emails. Number 2, I'll bring the hype back to Sussex sports. We are going to expand varsity with a massive on-campus fan zone, and I will introduce a union-subsidised second-hand kit shop so that joining a team is more affordable for everyone. And number 3, safety and inclusivity. Night safety is non-negotiable. I will ensure free drink protectors and welfare teams are at all union events and launch an inter-society collaboration grant to fund the big, diverse events that bring our communities together. It's time for fresh ideas and a mindset to resolve the crucial issues facing our sports and societies. It's time for real change that impacts the issues you and I have faced daily for the 4 years I've been here at least. Let's stop fighting the system, let's fix it. Societies and events, vote Robert for real change. Thank you very much.
We're now going to go in reverse order. Down the line. So for your first question, that is, you will be working with a range of student groups. How will you make sure they feel heard and that your team is able to support all of them? You will have 1 minute to answer this question. I will again inform you when you have 10 seconds remaining.
Right now, committees feel like they are shouting into a void of unanswered emails. I will replace the endless email chains with regular in-person committee drop-in clinics in Founder House. If you have an issue with a risk assessment or a finance form, you can come and speak to me or the team directly to get it sorted on the spot. God knows they gave me plenty of headaches. And then, equalising the basics, room bookings and storage. Support isn't just about listening. It's about providing those basics. A society with 10 members deserves the same ease of access as one with 200. I will ensure that every group feels supported by overhauling that room booking system to prioritise student groups over external bookings and by auditing our storage spaces so committee members don't have to keep props in their bedrooms. I did. The collaboration grant, finally, as I want to actually listen to their big ideas, as ex-president of Polsoc, I see the magic of collaborating with the Japan Society. A bonus fund specifically designed to encourage different groups to work together, break down cliques, and support diverse events.
Thank you. Do you need another question? The question is, you will be working with a range of student groups. How will you make sure that they feel heard and that your team is able to support all of them?
Okay, so how all groups can be heard is by prioritizing their needs in terms of reality. what I mean is, in the sense of, if a situation is bigger than another, then go through that situation. You have to take that situation first. Whatever requires more time to solve should get more time to solve. Whatever has a clear-cut answer should receive a clear-cut response. It's not that hard. Harder takes more time. Simple can be taken easily and quickly. Hearing them out means that you're going to show a genuine approach. It should not be a haphazard approach. As Robert said, like, a committee with 10 members doesn't mean that they shouldn't get a responsibility. It matters on the situation that they receive, not just the size of the committee or the size of any society. And that's my way of doing it. Thank you.
Do you need another question?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I'm currently student rep for media production, which is my course. And when we first started the course, I kind of made an effort to get to know everyone personally, make a WhatsApp group for the course. I'm someone that really doesn't like when someone's left out of a situation. So just making sure that everyone's included is really important. So I basically do the same thing on a wide scale, or try my best to, even though there's so many societies at Sussex. Just try and get to know people and go to their events. And then also send out a feedback form each month just to get responses and find out what societies need. Make sure they have the facilities, space and equipment that they need, and also email responses is a really good point as well. So.
Do you need one more question?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. You will be working with a range of student groups. How will you make sure that they feel heard and that your team is able to support all of them?
Yeah, that's cool. Good. So I already work with a range of student groups, and I find that the best way to make them feel heard is to really just appreciate them. Like I said earlier, show up to their events and tell your friends, colleagues, everyone to pull up to. I put out a form recently to societies and said, what events do you want the university and the uni exec to come to? And I got those replies, and then I sorted it out and they come. It's quite simple, really. And once they feel appreciated, they then feel heard and they then feel seen. I think as well, it's also about having a really good relationship with the activities team. We have an open office, which is basically just constant drop-ins. And we all work really hard because there's so many student groups, so obviously there's a lot to prioritise. And I think that already having that great relationship means that I feel comfortable to know when I should step in and when I should delegate that kind of work. And I think that really kind of helps the students. So if I'm working in the office and there's a student at each desk and then a student walks in, I'm like, hey, what do you need? And then immediately they feel kind of seen and heard. So I think it's such an advantage to kind of have that relationship already. You kind of know, yeah, when to step in, when to step in.
Okay, the second question is what kind of events do you think the SU should focus on outside of the busy periods like Freshers Week? Again, I'm just going to ask you, which one do you want to go first, and then you can come and take it.
I think we're
Okay,
yeah.
go for it. Whenever you are ready.
Yeah, so this was one of my manifesto policies last year, more events outside the freshman period, and it's something that I've also just put into the union strategy, because I think it's so important. That we really deliver at the start, and then we kind of stop, and we rely on societies to keep doing that. So I basically said, yeah, need more events that we facilitate outside campus. I've already done this with Liberation Live. It's a project I'm so passionate about, and I think this year's going to tell that, because they keep showing up, and I really love that. We sold I think it was 1,300 tickets over the last 6 months, which is really cool. And also all that money goes to charity stuff, and I think she too resonated with that. Another thing I think is really important is accessibility and free events. So this refreshment period, I put on some free events. The ones I'm most passionate about, I think, are crafty things that are quite calm, and social sports, which drop in because competitive sports isn't for everyone. And then I think the other main important kind of event is workshops and lobbying and no rights kind of things. I did a workshop last week now, which was about all things club culture, misogyny, sexual harassment, and it was really great. And opportunities come along, and we just chatted, and it was pretty good. So yeah, I guess my two main things would be accessible and free events, and then bigger, larger, and fun events.
Okay, do you need a reminder of the question?
I'm okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
So I would really want to put on live music and events as well. I think Liberation Live is incredible, so yeah, it's just brilliant. I am an artist myself, I'm a performer myself, so and I have on my radio show on URF, I have a different musician on each week. So I'm kind of have a network of artists that I'm like close with, and there's just so much talent, not just artists, but there's just so much like talent involved that would go into live music events at Sussex, like students, like there's journalism, sound tech, there's like lighting, artists, just like all sorts. So I really want to just bring everyone together and do stuff with that and use that to fundraise. And events where everyone can get involved. I ran an event at the ACCA last year, and we had like a DIY, you could like interact with music equipment yourself with no pressure. So thank you so much.
Do you need a reminder of the question?
Yeah, that's good.
What kind of events do you think the SU should focus on outside of the busy periods of like Freshers Week?
Okay. Well, Sussex is a university known for its involvement in liberation throughout the past. I actually have a module that has focused on liberation movements. And that has tried in recent times, we must admit. I suggest more things such as walks for Sudan. Well, it seems like live events seems to be the method nowadays. Songs for Sudan are stopping us from doing that. To raise awareness and possibly contributions for the aid, to aid the war in Sudan, or to aid the victims of the war in Sudan. Events such as Liberation Live should continue though, and Palestine Solidarity Coffee Morning should continue, as the effects are clearly benefiting people. And I think events that really just integrate the people, or raise awareness and raise understanding of what the people from international places are going through in their home countries can unify the university.
You need a reminder of the question? What kind of events do you think the SU should focus on outside of the busy periods like Freshers Week?
Great question. Well, just to be clear, I think that daytime and commuter-friendly events are certainly something I'd quite like to see done more often. Liberation Life, fantastic. I'm going to go. But what I think should happen is, I don't think campus should die because it's Tuesday in November. I think that a huge portion of our students that we need to remember, they commute from Brighton home further away, and we need to focus on high-quality daytime and early evening events. Maybe food markets, food sales, more interactive pop-ups, just more of them, I suppose. So commuters don't have to choose between a 25-plus home and feeling part of the community. I'd also quite like to see more safe and sober options. Students love a party, I do, but not every event needs to revolve around alcohol. I think that by investing in diverse non-alcoholic events like open-air cinemas or even just silent discos, and for the club nights that we run year-round, safety has to be consistent, which is why I'm pushing for more welfare teams and free drink protectors at all events, but also for more alcohol-free events.
Thank you to our four Sports Society's events officer candidates. Okay then, you may now retake your seats. I would now like to invite our candidates for Wellbeing Officer to the stage. There is one more candidate for this role. She will be there tonight. Take the microphone, please. So again, we will start with your speech in a few minutes, and then we'll just move on to questions.
Perfect. I wrote my speech down, I hope that's okay. I'm just pretty nervous.
Okay, so 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello everyone, I'm Annie and I'm pre-running to be your wellbeing officer because this past year has shown me what can be possible when student voices are genuinely heard and how much we still have to do. Being your wellbeing officer for the past 8 months has been an incredible privilege. I spent this year listening to students across Sussex, and one thing has come up consistently. Students don't just want support when things go wrong, they want a university that actively helps them feel safe, informed, and able to thrive every day. That's why my priorities for the next year focus on practical changes that students will actually feel. First, a safer campus. Every student deserves to feel safe walking home or studying away on campus. I'll continue to hold the university accountable for fixing the damn lights on campus, installing new lights in dark areas, expanding emergency call points, and ensuring security receive mandatory wellbeing and trauma-informed training so safety feels supportive and not intimidating. Second, empowering students through knowledge, which many other candidates have said, which is fucking brilliant. Too many students struggle simply because they don't know their rights or how to access the help they're entitled to. I will deliver accessible workshops on student rights, renters' rights, and navigating support systems so students feel confident advocating for themselves. I will also prioritise reforming, reporting, and communication systems. Right now, students often experience processes that are confusing and impersonal. They told to go to the student centre, accommodation, the SU, and then maybe back to the student centre after the time. I will continue to push to humanise reporting procedures and create wellbeing drop-ins and community spaces to open conversations about mental health instead of isolating students that reach out.
This year I've already delivered real change, from LGBTQ plus training for counsellors, peer group support and compassionate communication reforms. And real acting means we don't lose momentum. It means we build on progress with someone who already understands how to turn student priorities into actual change. If you want a wellbeing officer who listens, delivers and keep pushing until Sussex works for every student, I would be honoured to have your vote.
Thank you. We'll move on to the questions. Your first question is, a generation of students missed out on key support transitioning to high school during the pandemic. There is now one of the highest proportions ever of students aged 14 to 17 struggling with stress, anxiety and mental health problems, and schools and colleges are struggling to cope with this. What do you think we need to do to get ready to support this cohort when they arrive at university over the next few years?
I'm relieved I didn't hear that for the first time this time. It's quite up. Okay, I'm ready. I think we need to start by recognising that this cohort isn't arriving less capable. They just have different experiences of education and support systems. Many missed key social and academic transitions, so the university needs to shift from assuming independence to actively teaching it. First, we need earlier and more realistic transition support. That means working with applicants before they arrive, setting clear expectations about workload and well-being, and where to get help, rather than overwhelming students in Freshers Week with 100 emails and 500 links within those emails that you're expected to remember. Second, we need preventative well-being support rather than crisis response. Helping students build connections through peer mentoring schemes, support groups, I fucking love support groups, and community building activities. These measures can help with transition and providing students with a place to turn when they're struggling. Third, staff need support too. Lecturers and academic personal tutors should be equipped to recognise distress, and methods of escalation should be accessible, consistent and effective. The ultimate goal is creating a community at Sussex.
The second question is, what are things that the university does that harm student well-being, and how will you get them to do these things differently?
Well, yeah. One of the biggest well-being challenges isn't a lack of services, as some may believe. It's that students experience the university as disconnected systems that don't actually talk to each other. When a student is struggling, they're often passed between academic departments, well-being services, accommodation, the student centre, and then the SU. I've lost my place. Proper escalation depends on the student having the energy to keep retelling their story, and that is where people fall through the gaps. Escalation systems currently rely too much on individual staff awareness rather than clear, shared pathways. If communication breaks down between teams, risk isn't always recognised early and support comes to your dead. One of my main priorities for the upcoming year is focus on improving institutional cohesion. That means mapping the student journey when things go wrong, identifying where handovers fail, and pushing for clear escalation processes so responsibility follows the student rather than constantly following up on requests. Well-being improves when systems feel human and coordinated, not when students have to navigate bureaucracy at their most unorganized.
Okay, I would now like to invite our candidates for the Education and Employability Officer.
Someone take my job!
Okay, as per usual at this point, we're going to go along the line. You will get 2 minutes to do your speech, and then we're going to go backwards along the line, and you will get 1 minute to answer the first question. Except, actually, I forgot there's a video in the middle. And then we'll do the second question. Yeah. Okay. 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Jay. I'm running to be your next Education and Employability Officer. I've been in Sussex for 4 years now, and I love this community. This community is everything to me, and I've seen what this community is capable of, and I believe that we're capable of doing so much more. Tuition fees are higher than they've ever been, and we're getting less and less from our university. Courses are being cut, lecturers are being cut, modules are being cut, and students are feeling it. The university are trying to take us for a ride. I will be an officer, if elected, who stands up and takes a stand on the issues that matter to students. I've been a student rep for 3 years, and quite unfortunately, I've also worked at the co-op for about the same amount of time. We'll get to that. In the last few years, I've worked on quite a few projects. I co-founded Liberation Live with Elle, which is an amazing project that has raised thousands of pounds for charity. I negotiated with a number of other activists a new socially responsible investment policy, which means that millions of pounds of your tuition no longer fund unethical companies who put it in the genocide in Palestine. I was also part of the Palestine encampment. 2 months in Library Square was not fun, but I think it brought results. And I also fought against cuts to my department as a student. The cost of living crisis is also a cost of learning crisis, and it disproportionately affects students. I want to bring back the Renters Union so we can give professional advice to students for free on how to live in safe and affordable housing in the city and on campus. I also want to fight both the council and the Brighton Bus Company to fight for cheaper and more accessible bus fares. I want to work with Eat Central and bring catering in-house in the university so we can get free food in Eat Central every day and every week. When it comes to education, I want to put students first and not cuts. I want to bring academic credit in if you're involved in student activities. If you're on a committee, you work hard. You should be rewarded for this work. I want to decolonise the curriculum by working with REAs and student reps to make sure that we're a global university. Our curriculum should represent that. Finally, I want to welcome the Education Act 1994 that takes power away from students. I want to fight for what run, and I want to bring back the SE into the debate to abolish tuition fees. Thank you.
Let's do this one.
Okay, 2 minutes. Remember, you are ready.
So I'm Lee, and I'm currently studying music as an MA. I'm in my final year. I'm the incumbent mature student representative in the Union Council, and I work in this role. I work with the current officers on a variety of campaign issues. I also sit on the committee of the Mature Student Society to manage the capacity and to facilitate communication between them and the mature students. As a number of student coming back to university, I tried to make the absolute most of my experience in Sussex. It's been fantastic. This place is, in a lot of ways, it's like a utopia, really. You know, coming out, we spent 30 years in the real world, I tell you, this place has got a lot going through. So, having this experience, I think I do have a unique skill set to enable me to carry out the important work started by, I won't mention his name, but the incumbent Minister Salazar, who's the current officer in this role, and as he's done, I aim to continue bringing the university to task in all areas of education. I'm going to look to improve the governance structures because I think the actual structure and the system is our big enemy here. I'll quickly go through a few bullet points. I'm looking to improve our learning conditions and ensure that student input is taken seriously, especially on issues such as timetable and academic feedback. I'm also looking at the way university resources are spread across faculties, very often at just 3 students, they look after their own thing. I'm going to fight for an equal Sussex with accessible, better funded students' union and ensure that any organisations that promote hate speech and discrimination of any form have no place in university life. And the bit I haven't mentioned, you can read my manifesto on the website.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Carissa, and I have my pronouns are she, her. I am an economic and management student and a senior course rep in business school. Over the past 3 years, I have noticed some of the largest issues within the university. Your voices have the opportunity to be heard more. The end of year modules surveys that are only done once a year before your exams are only seen by your lecturers. If I am elected, I hope to create a safe space for students to give feedback and honesty. Moreover, I want this safe space to be allowed for people to see from the student reps and the union itself. Therefore, teaching can adapt to your needs and your voice can have a real impact. The union has so many opportunities which are not often seen by students and are also only offered to second year and third year students. I hope to increase the connectivity between schools. I also want to improve the resources and accessibility of the students. These resources are not adequate and also they can be utilised so much more than they already are. This allows for more multidisciplinary experience with the students, which helps more skill set. I want to campaign for better infrastructure, better water fountains on campus. I want to introduce more plug sockets in your lecture bitches so that when you have 7-hour days, you can charge your lecturers throughout. I want to make a better preparation for today's graduate market. I want to push for more work experience modules. I want to create a hub which explains workplace rights, and I want to partner with local businesses to create more opportunities. It would be an honour to represent you guys as your student union, and let's get talking.
We're now going to play a video from one of our other candidates.
please vote for me. That is Alex for Education Officer. I have 36 different policies. My policies are moderate. My policies I recommend for people to read before voting because definitely I have the most substantial document. As you can see, it's very, very long. And so I think this would make me a good candidate. Now, I think there's some questions.
Okay, we're now going to move on to the first question, which is, in this role, you would be representing students on a range of different courses. How will you work to understand issues faced by students in subject areas that are different to your own?
I hope to expand on this senior course rep scheme and the reps in general. I want to make it more inclusive for mature and PhD students, allowing them to have opportunities and more to participate in the meetings, as within the business school there is a real lack of that. I hope to allow more students to come to the SSEG meetings. These are meetings, you don't know, are meetings with our business school or the school leaders in New York. This allows more students to have more opportunities to talk. I hope to expand the RAP conference also to more students as well.
We're now going to go back to the video.
And the first question is what I will do for people who aren't studying maths. So some of my policies are focused on maths, and personally I think this is a positive because there are some very, very easy fixes that the maths department can do, and some of these have been suggested by lecturers. For example, there's a programming language called MATLAB, and basically not that many people use it, and so we want to replace it by a more common programming language called Python. Now, in my manifesto, as you can see, or might not be able to see because of poor visibility, but one could see that this would be replaced. So, yeah, my manifesto is focused on STEM students, but I also think that freedom of speech is very important, and I know that another student, which I won't name because I don't have the permission to name, has said that some departments are very, very Marxist, and some of these policies would address that by having protections for freedom of speech. And the second thing,
And here's our next candidate now. Would you like me to remind you of the question?
Yeah.
In this role, you will be representing students on a range of different courses. How will you work to understand issues faced by students in subject areas that are different to your own?
Right, okay, so firstly I need to know what's currently in place and supporting this question really. One practical way, and this was highlighted at the Student Reps Conference last week that I attended. Basically we did a discussion forum where different faculties came together and we talked about issues and put them together for Lewis to take to the university. So I think that was a really good practice, and I think that should be made a much more of a regular event. Finally, I'd like to, as my fellow candidate mentioned, I'd like to offer more support to those meetings that they have with the university representatives for their courses, because really make sure they happen as well. And if the lecturers try to get out because they're too busy, we won't let that happen. Thank you.
And finally, would you like to remind me of the question? Okay.
In this role, my job, if I'm elected to this role, is not to tell you what you need as a student, but it is to hear what you have to say to me and tell me what you need. I will work with student reps, senior course reps, RAs. I want to expand those schemes. I want to work with the University Union Relationships Council and University Senate to expand the power and the funding we give to those schemes so the students can approach an education officer and say, this is what I need. My background's in humanities. I cannot sit here and tell you I know how to fix a chemistry lab, but I can tell you that I will hear out someone who tells me they need to be fixed. And so yeah, I really want to expand the student rep scheme. I want to work with the University Union Relationships Council to make sure that lecturers and heads of department are forced to action feedback given by course reps. I also want them to have academic credit for their work because they work for free. And that means we can represent a range of courses, and we can also get people to engage in courses where historically there have not been many student reps. We're all being screwed over at the same university, and so we have power in numbers and we're together.
role, you're working with a lot of senior university staff, such as heads of department, executive deans, and pro-vice chancellors. How would you balance challenging them in the interest of students with working to build relationships with them that you can use to influence things for the better? Can we please go to the video first?
Is that, well, the second question is what I will do, or how I can deal with, the managers. And what I will say is that, I will try to have very realistic policies. Ultimately, if I was elected, my powers are going to go so wide. So I recognise that I wouldn't be, like a messiah, and one has to be realistic, and therefore lots of these policies are realistic. For example, one of them just says that the student union should update their editor. And I've also been very careful because my initial documentation had a policy where potentially, if I published it, people could hack the university. But I've decided to instead, responsibly report that issue to IT services. So you can definitely see the level of detail which has been put into this document. I think this will far eclipse any other candidate, and I think my policies would be very, very sensible. And that's why you should vote for Alex for education officer. So yeah, so bye, ciao.
Thank you. And next up, do you need a reminder of the question? In this role, you are working with a lot of senior university staff, such as heads of department, executive deans, and pro-vice chancellors. How would you balance challenging them in the interest of students with working to build relationships with them that you can use to influence things for the better?
The student union has a good working relationship with the university senior leadership right now, but the higher education sector is in crisis and we cannot bank on that relationship. Universities do see SUs as expendable, but I think all of us here know the value of a fully funded and fully equipped student union, and so this is not a question of being friendly or being aggressive to universities. It is a mix. It is about the context. It means that in certain meetings, yes, we do need to stand up and we do need to tell the university straight up what we need, but also we do need to build meaningful relationships with senior leadership so they can trust us. This is not an either-or question. I believe that any education officer, no matter who it is, should be able to reflect a broad range of views, and they should be able to stand up to the university when it counts, and also build a meaningful relationship with senior leadership. At the end of the day, we do need a working relationship with senior management.
Yeah. Next, do you need another reminder of the question? Okay. Then you ready?
A large part of understanding the relationship is understanding their interest and seeing how their interest conflicts with ours. We, as students, need to be getting that kind of feedback. This gives us a much better representation so that we can argue what we are seeing so that they can see it too. A lot of the issues are systemic in the way that they work in their little bubbles, and we need to make this bubble bigger. We need to understand what we are seeing, and we need to use this feedback for the data of it. The role may require challenging different ideas, but not the people. And at the end of the day, the goal is to improve the student experience, which benefits the parties.
Do you need a reminder of the question? In this role, you are working with a lot of senior university staff, such as heads of department, executive deans, and pro-vice chancellors. How would you balance challenging them in the interest of students with working to build relationships with them that you can use to influence things for the better?
Okay, well, as I said earlier, I was a business development manager for 35 years, so first thing on the resume is how you can build relationships with the clients. So basically, there's lots of ways of doing this, so obviously I've got a lot of experience doing this, but I'll give you one example I'll use, the strategy I'll use. Basically, I think the heads of departments, pro-vice chancellor and the university manager are basically on our side. They want the same things we want. They want the best life for students. So the trouble is, I think, as I said before, I only use the system. And I think what I will be doing, this is just one example, I'll be presenting, rather than going to them, and when you walk in the office, they'll see there's a problem, how I'm going to solve this, I'm going to get the budget. I'm going to present myself as a solution, and I'm going to look for a solution, pre-prepare myself, and basically give them what they want. I will make their life easier, but do what we want to do. Thank you.
Officer candidates, you may now return to your seat. these I've read now, but instead I'm going to check if we have any of our women's officer candidates in the room. No. Do we have any of our BAME student officer candidates in the room? Okay. Do we have our PTR officer candidate in the room? She's in Spain, apparently. Do we have any of our student trustee candidates in the room? Okay, however, we do have a student trustee video, so we're just going to play that now, and then we can end.
Hello, I'm Lola. I'm sorry I can't be there tonight at the Hustings event. You might also know me by Lo. My Instagram for this campaign is Lo__student trustee USSU. I'm running to be your student trustee. As a chronically ill, queer, mixed-race student living with a mental illness, I see exactly where this university systems fail, and I'm running to change them at the level where it matters, governance. Trustees shape long-term strategy, so my priorities are clear. We need academic policies that actually work for disabled and chronically ill students, consistent extensions, accessible teaching, and standards that don't depend on which part of the school you're in. We need mental health framework with shorter waits, trauma-enforced practice, and real oversight. We need financial decisions that will put student well-being before institutional governance. I'll push for transparency in every decision, budgets, policies, and outcomes to make sure our students aren't left in the dark. My lived experience gives me insight, but my commitment is to evidence, accountability, and making sure student voices shape the university's future, and I'll be honoured to earn your vote.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming to Hustings. As a reminder, voting opens at 10 a.m. on Monday morning and closes at 2 p.m. on Thursday the 5th of March. Feel free to stay here or in the chat. And